All right, I guess we're going to talk about the formation of community colleges in the PBS video and just other kind of interesting things in the readings. Certainly worth noting, the first public community college being founded around 1901 in Illinois, um, and looking at why the community colleges were founded, some of the really broad goals, were capturing that growing uh, educational and training markets. As the population was increasing and as it was becoming more and more, and you can see this throughout, not only at the beginning of the formation of the community colleges, but especially post World War II, um, and in general, when you're looking at higher education, once the word got out that hey, you need to get an education, a collegiate education, a higher education in order to get a really good job, that's whenever the access really became a big issue, and community colleges kind of was seen as maybe a potential gateway for that. Students could get in to community college because of that open access and potentially pursue those goals. Sort of like the girl, one of the girls in the video who was looking to become a vet, coming straight out of high school because she dropped out and got her GED. That wouldn't have been a possibility going straight into a 4-year school. So um, having to go the community college route. And then kind of while we're talking about the PBS video, some of the issues in general, just the academic unreadiness of a lot of students, just the diversity. You're looking at much, the gentleman in the video at 30 years old, just now going back to school, certainly is not your traditional college student. And tack onto that, 3 kids and working full time, you're getting further and further away from would be the traditional. It's kind of interesting now having a kid. I feel like I'm borderline in that non-traditional myself, while certainly not going back to community college, and so it's very different. But just this concept of all right, full-time job and responsibilities outside of the classroom, which is something that a lot of traditional students don't have. Um, a lot of times students will turn to, or people will turn to community colleges, whenever they're switching careers, because of the vocational training aspect of community colleges, and that's one of the issues with community colleges in general, is that just trying to figure out what is their mission, like what are they supposed to be working on, and it trickles down and affects the students. Particularly with the community college where they talked about students kind of secretly being told, not even to go to an advisor because it's not going to do you any good, because the advisor is going to have you take classes that may or may not transfer. But kind of getting back to what was going on with the formation, the establishment, the evolution of community colleges. You also looked at supporting open access to higher education, particularly with the diverse clientele. Securing professional respect, personal advancement, and institutional support from policymakers, and supporting moderate social educational reform. And so that's kind of coming directly from one of the readings as far as why community colleges were established. And then as you look on how they progressed, post World War II, kind of as they kind of continue to move out west, particularly one of the readings talked about in Texas and California. How community colleges kind of started popping up, and how as the population shifted in the Industrial Revolution, brought about different needs, and so different opportunities to educate people had to arise. But the big issue is certainly within community colleges, failure to graduate. Although one would say that if you're offering things like ballroom dancing, where it's more of a community service piece, it's hard to really judge yourself on graduation rates. But if you're not going to judge yourself on graduation rates and it's just going to be an enrollment, then of course, instead of supplying 2 or 3 extra math or science courses that some students really need, you're opening it up to a 45, 60 person dance class because you're going to get paid for those enrollment numbers, as opposed to, and they mentioned it in the video, you're going to get paid a lot less than community colleges for a 10-person nursing class. And so it's definitely a crux that the community colleges find themselves in when it comes to a mission. And it was definitely some interesting reading, really enjoyed all of it, and I'm looking forward to learning more about it.